This book I'm going to be talking about today is called The Broker. It's got my notes here, 36 pages, full colour. Really nice book actually. There it is there. Really good quality book. The printing is great on it. It's just have a look at the credits here. So it was written by Wayne Talbot. There's actually two artists on this book. It's quite interesting to see. I know a lot of people would say that it was quite jarring when it swapped from one artist to the other, but I think anyone who's kind of creates books, it's always interesting to see this and see how the different artists approach different things. So from a commentary point of view, it's added interest, I think. So for the first 10 pages, the artist is Rory Coleman and the colours are Timothy Brown, and the rest of the book, pages 1136, is Brian Corcoran and Wayne Talbot coloured it. So that's the writer also colouring some of the book. Letters Miriam Abouin and editor Kieran Marcantonio. On first impressions, the cover is great. The character there holding the gun pointing towards the screen, it's a really well drawn character. I love that foreshortening, holding the gun up into the camera kind of shot. Those kind of mug shots at the back there, the creators of the story. It's I actually know what some of those creators look like, so they're pretty good likenesses. The blood kind of dripping down is a nice touch as well. Overall, yeah, really good cover, I have to say. Very impressed with that. This is Rory's work. This page I picked, which was my favourite page of his. It's just that nice variation of shots. You kind of have this mid shot where the character's flipping a table over. There's actually a bomb in a briefcase in this scene, and then the character is ducking behind this table. The bomb is actually going towards the those mirrors that they have in interrogation rooms, police interrogation rooms. And then the second two panels there on the opposite side, this is actually one of the cops here. He's obviously in shock that what's going on, and then you have this explosion. So yeah, there's a lot of things happening there. I like the different variation of shots. I suppose I'm not sure if you could actually flip a table in an interrogation room. I'd imagine they'd have those bolted down. I'm not too sure. But yeah, it's really cool. Even I like this explosion. It's great. Possibly could have maybe a missed opportunity to put in some more glass and stuff like that. Might have added a bit more to it. But yeah, really nice page. I think Rory's style is a lot. It's kind of has that Marvel comic, like superhero kind of style that everybody associates with. I'd say he was influenced by Joe Mad, who was a pretty big artist back in the 90s. So yeah, like I think Rory's style has changed a lot since then. I've followed him on social media, and his stuff doesn't look exactly like this anymore. But just I suppose I'm commenting on the artwork inside this book, The Broker. One thing I noticed here on the colouring, if I just go back, who coloured this? Timothy Brown. See here, like these kind of harsh gradations. I'm not sure if that is as successful on skin tones, because to me it looks a bit like chiseled angles in an arm, whereas we know like arms are kind of more smooth. So I think gradation would have been a bit more successful there. Kind of like the way see the glass back here in the mirror, the way that's kind of a graded kind of shade color. I think something like that would have worked better on the arms here. Like, just put this page in here. This was probably like the story flowed really well throughout. This was the only part where I kind of had to pause because I got a little bit confused what was going on here. And essentially in this scene, this is after the bomb has blown through the interrogation room, You can see here that the criminal is still alive and the cop is still alive. And what I didn't get here was, at first I thought in this panel here that this was the cop grabbing the criminal, but then the next shot is the cop pointing the gun at the criminal. So I kind of got confused. I was like, who's this other person here? And then the cop says, Mendoza, step away from that man. So I just think maybe before this shot it could have introduced this character Mendoza, possibly. Like, you do find out that Mendoza is another cop in the pages following it, but at the time, yeah, it was just a little bit it kind of stopped me in my tracks, and I had to kind of go and figure out what was going on. Other than that, yeah, the book flowed really well. This page here is the first page of Brian Corcoran's work in the story. I love this page. I think, like, Brian looks to really look at photo reference and really look at environments and how they're put together and what kind of props or details make them look unique for that area. And it just really wanted to put this page in to show, like, the perspective is excellent in it. You have this character walking down the street, coming up through into her, it looks like an apartment or something. But, like, yeah, even things like this, like these stairways going up, like, you may not, if you decided to draw someone entering a building, and if you didn't go and look at reference, you may not put in details like that. You might just put the entrance on the floor or something, or it's just little details like that I think really help enrich an environment. So I'd have to say well done to Brian for that. Even here, the character is opening a safety deposit box. You know, everything looks really nice. I love these kind of zoom ins on important details in the story. Really nice page. It's got some cool variation going on. So this page here was my favorite page of Brian's. It's actually a gorgeous page. I absolutely love it. I love the colors as well. It's just spot on. Like, you've just got these three panels, an outside shot of this warehouse with an explosion. Like, it's so looks great, that explosion. And then in here you've got these two characters being blown through a window. Then this, I love this. You can see one character obviously has been saved, hasn't taken the brunt of the explosion, and is alive. So, like, there's nothing really been said here, but you know exactly what's going on just by looking at the images. And then finishing this page, what's really really sweet is it kind of pulls back from the action. And I'd almost imagine that if this was in a movie, you would just see the smoke kind of billowing up, and you might hear some alarms or something because of the blast has triggered alarms in neighboring buildings or something like that. Like, so it really kind of sets that scene, and it triggers my imagination to think of the sounds and what's going on there. And even the coloring is excellent. It's kind of got a nice palette going all the way through. I'll actually go back to another page here, and I think Wayne's colouring here is not as strong, if I'm being honest. Here, like, you've got that nice kind of harmonious palette, whereas here there's kind of there's a mixture of a lot of strong colours. And I'd imagine in a bar at night, maybe like these neon signs might be more dominant, and you wouldn't maybe see as strong greens and say the red in the hat and stuff like that. Like, you know, I'm not too sure, like, but, like, don't get me wrong, the colors are great. Like, I'm just trying to compare a page that I think looks really sweet to one that is probably not as nice as this one. This panel here was probably my favorite panel in the whole story. I just love the kind of down shot. Obviously, you know, it's a young child. I like that kind of down shot because it's almost like the adult is looking down at the child, and just a great kind of drawing of a face with the blood and the tears trickling down, and even like a nice bit of dialogue there as well, there from above. Thought that was a powerful panel, so well done for that. I have to say, I really enjoyed this book. I had a lot of fun with it. There's a lot of cool twists and turns. It's not really, like, I would describe it as kind of crime, street level type book. There's a bit of kind of political commentary, I think. that's not something I'm normally too into. Like, I kind of like my comics for escapism, but the fact that it was an indie book, I always try and support the local creators. I was definitely going to pick it up, and the art was cool. I went into it thinking I wouldn't really enjoy it, and I just read through it, but I have to say it was probably one of the best books I've read on the indie scene in Ireland. It was a lot of things that I wasn't expecting, and it was really good. If you like my commentary on The Broker, then please give this video a like, subscribe, and share it. Yeah, tell your friends. The Broker.